Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you are doing well, inshallah. And today I am with you with the next episode, that is the fourth episode, wherein in this episode we will be looking at the next 15 surahs from the Holy Quran. In the last three episodes, we have seen in bits of 15 surahs how we can remember the surahs. And I have explicitly said about this that our brain, our mind works on two principles basically. That is, the first principle by now is, I hope you remember, is by association. That is by linking what you know to the words or tasks which you don't know. So when you link together, it helps your mind to keep that. And to reinforce this new learning, the more you repeat, it will be easier for your mind to take it as something very important and put it in your long-term memory. So association and repetition, these are the two principles on which our mind works, and it helps us to consume the new data for our mind to process and to take it into the permanent memory, so that whenever you want to retrieve later in your life, it will be easier for you. So based on these two principles, we actually had all the three episodes. And in this episode, I will not go through the previous 45 surahs, which we have done in the last three episodes, but I will continue with the 46th surah and complete up to 60th. So once we do this, and in the next episode, that will be the fifth episode, we will start with actually revising the previous chapters, previous surahs basically, and continue. And then we will have this revision, and we will move later on to the next 15 surahs, that is from 61 to 75. So once we complete this episode, it will be like we have almost more than half of the surahs we have completed, because as you know, the Quran consists of 114 surahs, and by completing 60 surahs, we are almost more than 50% of the list uh, within our memory, inshallah. So let's get started. So in this, as you know, the last surah of the previous episode was 45th, which was Al-Jasiyah. And as you remember, we linked to the believers, Al-Mu'minun, where they were actually kneeling down. So taking forward with this base is when these believers were kneeling down and they were crouching, they were on these sand dunes, they were on these sand hills. And as you know, this in the desert, you have some elevations, those are these dunes. So these believers were on these dunes. And when they were in this situation, there came a man by name Muhammad. There came a man by Muhammad, and he had a victory flag with him. He had a victory flag with him, and he was coming from the inner apartments. He was just coming from the inner apartment, from the rooms, and his flag has a Arabic letter Qaf on that flag. And as soon as he came from the inner apartments with this victory flag, and wherein on this victory flag we saw letter Qaf, winds started blowing. Winds started blowing. And these winds were coming from the mountain. These winds were coming from the mountain. And moving on, we are shifting to the right side of this presentation, wherein we are on 53rd surah. When these winds were coming from the mountains, then emerged the star, the star and the moon. The star and the moon in the horizon, in the sky. And this was visible from the beneficent. This was visible from the beneficent, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then an event happened, and then an event happened, and in this event, two things emerged. Two things emerged: an iron bar, an iron bar, and a pleading woman. These two things emerged in this event: an iron bar and a pleading woman, and they came from an exile. They came from an exile, and once they came out from the exile, the iron bar and the pleading woman, this woman was put under questioning. This woman was put under questioning. Okay, so far so good. I hope that this story is helping you to link each and every surah name. So this was the story. Now I'll be linking this story with the actual surah name so that it will be association and it will help you to link it in your memory also. So starting from this, these believers were crouching, that were they were kneeling down, and they were kneeling down and on the dunes, that is called as al-ahqaf, that is called as al-ahqaf. And then came a person by name Muhammad, that is the 47th surah of the Quran, and he had al-fath, that is the victory flag, basically a victory. And to make our understanding easier, he had a victory flag that is called as al-fath, the victory al-fath. And he was coming from al-hujurat, that is the rooms, that is the inner apartments. And when he came with this flag had an Arabic letter Qaf on it. That is the name of the surah itself, which is the 50th surah of the Quran, Qaf. After this, then started Ad-Dariyat, Ad-Dariyat, that is the winds, the winnowing winds. To make it easy, the winds. And this is the 51st surah, Ad-Dariyat. And these winds were coming from At-Tur. At-Tur, Tur is a mountain. So these winds were coming from Ad-Dariyat, was coming from At-Tur. So moving on to the right side, once this was happening, that the winds were coming, Ad-Dariyat were coming from At-Tur, An-Najm, that is the star, An-Najm, and Al-Qamar, the moon, were visible. And this, the Najm, An-Najm, and Al-Qamar were visible by Ar-Rahman, that is the beneficent, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This were visible by Ar-Rahman. And then Al-Waqiyah happened, an event happened. Al-Waqiyah happened. And in this Al-Waqiyah, two things emerged. One was Al-Hadid, which is the iron. And second was Al-Mujadila, the pleading woman. Two things emerged, Al-Hadid and Al-Mujadila. And they emerged from Al-Hashr. They emerged from Al-Hashr, that is from an exile. And this pleading woman was put under questioning. And this is called as Al-Mumtahina. Al-Mumtahina. This pleading woman, Al-Mujadila, along with the iron and the pleading woman came from exile, that is Al-Hadid and Al-Mujadila, from Al-Hashr to Al-Mumtahina, that is this woman was put under questioning, that is Al-Mumtahina, which is the 60th surah of the Quran. So I hope that this story woven has actually helped you to have a glimpse of how this will make you easy to remember the list of the surahs from the Holy Quran, from starting from 46th surah all over to the 60th surah. So inshallah, we will have a revision of all this 60th surah in the next episode, and then we will continue forward from the 61st surah to the 75th surah, inshallah. So Jazakallahu Khair for watching, and If you have found this video useful, please do share your comments, share with your loved ones, and also hit the subscribe button to have further videos for your knowledge and information, inshallah. Jazakallahu khair for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.